Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, as a follow-up to the last video that I uploaded, this is the water cooler I'm going to be putting in my new setup, and I'm super stoked about it. So this is technically the cheapest 3-fan radiator that you can get from the brand upHere. So you might be asking yourself why I'm going a little bit cheaper on this component. It's because it should be able to do the task, and I'm slowly building this computer up. I got the case, I've got an older rig on the inside of it, so I'm going to slowly start kind of figuring out and seeing what I can piece together. But my main issues that I was having is that I needed some better cooling. So this should hopefully be able to facilitate that. So we're going to do a time lapse of me taking out these top 3 fans, moving them down to the bottom, and then I'm going to be installing the radiator as well and taking off the stock Wraith cooler that comes with the AMD 7 and up. I believe also the 5 comes with them as well, but we're going to be taking that off, swapping over to liquid cool, and see what temps we're working with. So currently, with this setup and everything the way it is, it's a little bit older. I'm getting roughly around 48 degrees Celsius to up in the high range when I'm actually gaming hard or doing any kind of video processing. I'm usually getting up to around like 52 to 55 C. So a little bit more than I'd like it to be, in the 136 degrees Fahrenheit to roughly around like 150 degrees Fahrenheit if I'm really in a hot room or just kind of not got the AC going. So hopefully this will drop down those temps. So follow along as I take this apart and get this going on the installation for that. But real quick, we'll do an unboxing for you as well. Super excited if you can't tell. So what we're greeted with on the inside here is the radiator itself, and it is a all-in-one pre-built, so I don't have to worry about trying to heat up or get any of these tubes to have fluid in them or anything. Everything should be good to go pretty much right outside of the box. So we have our radiator set up. Comes with a little tube of thermal paste. We have our mounting bracket and screws, and that looks to be everything in the box. You do get a little instruction manual, and it does have a nice little piece of foam to kind of keep everything nice, neat, and tidy in the box. So we'll move that aside. Going over the instruction manual, looks like we do kind of have a long roadmap set up here. So we should have 2 styles of back brackets, one for the Intel set of things and one for the AMD set of things. So the 2 straight-ish brackets look like they are for Intel, and AM4 and AM5 are going to be these 2 smaller brackets that have the curves on them as well. We do have some spacer brackets, 4 of them. The main back of your motherboard bracket, looks like everything is on there for pre-set up to receive the bolts. 1 tube of thermal paste, as well as we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 screws. Actually, did I miscount that? Ah, there's one hiding. So we have 12 screws. Then we also have these little mounting nuts. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Perfect. And then we got 4 of these odd kind of adapter. One side is thicker, one side is smaller. Kind of little bolt screws there. 4 of them. 4 right here. Alright, so that is the main part. Of course, we have the radiator with the fans mounted, it looks like, hooking into the main bracket, which is copper, which I'm super excited about. A few people in the reviews had some concerns thinking that it was aluminum. This is copper. And to go over, since I'm moving a little quick here, this is the U360TC liquid CPU cooler, fully compatible with Intel and AMD. Alright, looking at the instructions here, it looks like it is set up for top mount. That is where I will be mounting it. Put this on the back of the motherboard, so I will have to take that out. Then you mount in the spacer kit, put in your 2 brackets, and then it looks like everything just locks into that. via this little setup right here with the 2 screws on either end, and of course thermal paste in between. As for the actual Intel versus AMD, once you pull off a little thin protective coat, which looks like there's just a little thin piece of plastic on there you pull off for protection, then you turn and rotate the head to which orientation you prefer. And then outside of that, you have the AIO pump, RGB, and the CPU fan for the pin connectors on there as well. So there are 3 points that need to connect. And it looks like 1, 2, 3. Kind of pull this off so you can see a little bit better here. So it looks like we have those 3 connectors right there, and 3 connectors on that side as well. Pretty well straightforward. I'm not seeing anything else on this little roadmap. So that is that. Pull out this fan here for us. All right, so here is the radiator in all of its glory. 3 fans. Everything seems to be very well packaged in my opinion. Not seeing any causes for concern. No damages in the fins or anything like that. And then we got our 3 fans. These are supposed to be RGB. So I'm gonna guess from the inside here that the LEDs are in the inside and shoot outward from around the bearings. And this whole part lights up as well and has that 360 capability. So you can reorient that in which orientation you prefer for your motherboard. So now that we know that everything is here, I'm not sure if I'll use this. I may end up using some Corsair that I just picked up just to make sure I get a little bit better temps. There's a little bit of separation in the tube. Technically, you can just kind of move this around, warm it up, and kind of get those to mix a little bit more. So if you need to, you can use what is supplied. I myself will not. So let's get to taking those fans out, putting them down to the bottom, then mounting this guy up to the top. Let's get to it. Alrighty, so the cooler is working phenomenal, but the RGB is not quite running the way it should. That ends up being actually my fault because the header connector for this particular setup is a RGB. This motherboard is older, so it technically only has the 4-pin, not the 3-pin, which is just standard RGB. So with the cable and that 1 pin not connecting, being that it's trying to run through in a RGB setup, that is why the lights are not quite working the way they're supposed to. So I will be getting an adapter cable to work with this motherboard for the time being. They're usually about $6 to $8 on Amazon. I'll see if there's one in town at Best Buy or any of my local tech shops. So that kind of sucks a little bit. I still get at least some lights on, not the lights I would prefer, of course, and I don't have control over them. I can, oddly enough, I didn't realize, you can't quite see it too well, but behind my GPU, there's actually a light on the motherboard that I didn't even realize existed until I started playing with some different RGB software and realized it was changing that light in particular and not modifying the header, because as it's trying to do that with it, this system isn't set up for RGB since it has to be a RGB. So all that to say, I did check my temps. I dropped down from 57 to 59-ish on the high end, For my CPU, it is now down to 36 degrees currently. I'm going to stress test it a little bit more, but for this doing what it's supposed to, dropping those fans down below, having the radiator on top with the fans, I'm also happy to report that my GPU dropped from roughly around like 68 degrees Celsius. Now having just these fans on the bottom has dropped this down to, I believe, 46 degrees. So pretty nice little 10-degree drops in some different areas, having the addition of the 3 fans on top and also dropping my 3 primary fans to the bottom. It looks great. I hope to get it all in the same theme and setup. I do still have one dead LED in my old fan, so if I swap that over you can see it blinking there sadly. But it is not a bad setup for budget. From what I could be doing, I could be buying brand new fans, different name brand setup on there, and also swapping out my motherboard. But of course, we're trying to do this one step at a time, the good old PC gamer way. So for right now, with its current configuration, I like it. I would love if those LEDs worked properly, so that'll be the next test. But otherwise, the pump is working just fine. All operation for the unit itself is working great. I can just play around with these LEDs later. So hopefully you enjoyed this little update. I'll give probably a quick short when I get the cable in and hope that this runs properly. Stay tuned for that. We should be able to take a look and see exactly there. But until then, I'm going to enjoy cooler temps and a little bit better peace of mind that this will be doing exactly what it should be. So thank you all so very much for watching, and hopefully you have yourselves a wonderful evening. If you like the video, make sure and hit like. If you're not already, be sure and subscribe to the channel for future updates as I continue to kind of outfit this whole computer setup. And if you want notifications each and every time I upload a video, make sure and hit that notification bell. Thanks again.